Greetings and welcome to another edition of Prescott Talks. And this show is about community interest. So thanks for tuning in. And today we have Cara Woods with us. She's running for County Superintendent of Schools. And Cara, thanks for being here with me on Prescott News today.
Oh,
and
thank you.
You've got a campaign going for this very important job
Yes.
of running the schools in the county of Yavapai County. 26 school districts in the county.
That is correct.
So that sounds like a big job. So before we get into the job description, can you tell us about your background?
Okay. Well, Cara Woods. I'm from northern Wisconsin originally. I traveled all over the country with my husband. He's an Army officer, retired now after 30 years. So we've been traveling all over. Once we had children, I started in schools. I started helping out, and then I decided to help more kids, so I started teaching. Then I decided to help more kids, so I became a high school teacher and taught math and science all over the country at different types of schools, charter schools, private schools, and public schools. So I've had a lot of experience all over the country. And then we moved here, and I taught over at Mile High for about 4.5 years.
Our middle school in Prescott?
Yes. And then I resigned from that and wanted to help more children. So I ran for the Prescott Unified School District School Board, and I won a seat on that. So during my time there, we have gotten a couple things accomplished. We have linked academic success to our superintendent's bonus pay, which I thought is a great thing because I really want to see our children excelling in reading, writing, math, and arithmetic. Okay.
So the superintendent's pay is based on how well they do in schools.
His bonus pay. We got some of it linked to the academics, and if he
good idea, by the way.
Increases,
way to go.
Then he gets more of his bonus pay or less. We also got on this last budget, they reduced the number of psychiatrists in the schools by 2. So I'm proud of that we got some of that out. I know children need, some need help, but I really feel like it's not the school's purview to be supplying that help. They should be
so right.
They should be going out, and their parents should be involved in that.
Why is it that when we were kids, no one needed a psychiatrist in the school? Why is that?
Oh, that's because we had perfect childhoods. No,
Yeah.
I am joking. I don't know. I have a philosophy that maybe we're just pushing the kids to feel. I don't know. How many times can you enter a classroom and go, how do you feel today? How do you feel today?
Right.
How do you feel about this?
Yes.
Before the kids are
it's all about the feeling.
Maybe I shouldn't be feeling just fine. Maybe I'm supposed to feel something rotten.
You know, when I was a kid, no one asked me how I felt.
No.
When I went to the classroom, they said, okay, get out your book, get out your paper and your pen. We're going to start business right now.
That's it. So I would like to see more of that. I'd like to see, we are a nation of laws. So getting the kids to understand that following the rules in a classroom leads to a good leadership and community service and helps them out later on if they know that they have to follow some rules and laws. My philosophy on education really is that I want the academics to improve. I want to remove a lot of the diversity, equity, and inclusion that has no place in academics. A child can learn. Any child can learn.
I'm so with you on that.
We have to get rid of a lot of the social emotional because that's just not what schools are supposed to be doing.
I am so with you on that too.
I don't think parents want that either.
Right.
I am a firm believer in parental control. So I would ask parents out there to get involved with their students' education.
Yes.
To go to the schools, to find out what they're doing, find out what they're reading, whether it be public school, private school, or charter school. There can be problems at any one of those types of schools, so there's not a whole one-shot solution.
Yep. And I'm totally with you on that as well. But one difference that I have to admit that there is going on today is there is less parental involvement, and that I think has a lot to do with there's less dads in the home now than there was 40 and 50 years ago.
So if we would like to be teaching our kids something about society, maybe we could be teaching them, a family is a mom, dad, and kids, that you should get married and have children and stay married.
Boy, there's a novel idea.
Some of those things, instead of trying to introduce that, any type of relationship is fine as long as, you feel right about it. I really think that our nation was founded on the Christian beliefs, and that we could bring those back just a tiny bit back into the classroom if we're going to do any of the values, but really just getting the kids to be able to do math, read, write. Reading and writing is so important to make a success of yourself later on in life.
Absolutely.
If you can't communicate, you can't do a lot of things.
Yeah.
One other thing that I would do if I get elected to this is that this position gets to appoint school board members of those 26 districts. If they decide to quit in the middle or they move away, this position appoints them. So I would be appointing conservative, like-minded people that have the same philosophy as I do into those positions, so that we can get academics strong across the country, across the county.
Yes.
So if we look at our county-wide scores in math and English, they are lower than the state scores. So Arizona as a state, if you took all the people that took the state's test, the English and math, our county, everyone who took a test in our county scores are lower than the state, and that's not acceptable. We have a fantastic county, and we have fantastic people and kids in they should be at least equal, but they should be above that. I think that we can grow our scores tremendously.
Yes, absolutely. And when the school district is accused of not teaching very well because the academic tests are so low, they say, yeah, but we're better than somebody else.
Yes.
They always say that.
They do. And even in Prescott Unified, they have a couple pat answers. They keep changing the tests. We're as good as the schools that are the same size as us. But 30 and 40% passing are not good. We need to do better than that.
Not acceptable. So true. And what programs would you? I know you talked about some programs that we definitely want to take out of the schools or not allow in those schools, and I think that is so great that that is your philosophy. It's also my philosophy. And what can we do though proactively to up those scores?
Up the scores. Right at the moment, we spend a lot of time during each class period. Not a lot of time. We spend, in Prescott Unified, we spend 5 to 10 minutes a class period on Capturing Kids' Hearts, which is a program supposedly used to improve academics, improve attendance, and modify behavior so it's better behaved children. I haven't seen, they haven't shown me the results. They can't show me those results yet. But I have seen several studies that say that Capturing Kids' Hearts it's a wash. It doesn't help or hinder. So maybe if we could get that time back for academics. Also, I'm a firm believer in...
Can you tell us what they do in Capturing Kids' Hearts? Because our listeners know nothing about Capturing Kids' Hearts and what they do.
It's a program to try and get the kids to self-monitor and monitor themselves. So the first 5 minutes of class, you shake the kids' hands at the door. Since COVID, you can knuckle bump or whatever. Greet them. You're supposed to be looking for kids that are maybe not quite happy or don't look like they're going to come in and be successful, and you can stop them at the door and have a little conversation, like, Jimmy, are you ready to have class today? And then let Jimmy in.
So it's a coddling time. Let's coddle our kids as they come into the class.
Then we use some time to have volunteers say something good that happened. I'm not a big fan of this because the last time I did it at Mile High, some kids were like, we're flying to Hawaii for Christmas for 2 weeks. And I'm like, I don't get to fly to Hawaii. And then I'm supposed to be nice about it. No. So I can imagine that the other kids are, maybe it's a little envious too. So I'm not sure it's just a good thing, but that's my personal belief. Yeah. And then you start class. And if someone misbehaves, there's a system of 4 questions you're supposed to ask to get them back on task. I was not a believer, so I could never say the 4 questions with a straight face. So it's like, what are you doing? See, I can't do it already. What are you doing? What are you supposed to be doing? Are you doing that? And then some other conclusion question. And I'm making fun of it just because I was not a believer. So I'm a firm believer. If you don't believe what you're teaching, you can't teach it.
Yeah. And Carl, I substituted in Mile High and Prescott High, and I saw that nonsense too, and I never did that.
Yeah, it was very hard for me, and I'm sorry. So some teachers really like it, and they seem to get a buy-in from the kids for it. The kids are supposed to be telling each other, to quiet down or to behave, and things like that. And then the last 2 or 3 minutes is a send-off where you send them off with a nice quote, or the children come up with something nice or inspirational to say to send them off for the day.
Very touchy-feely.
Yeah, it is. It is. I'd like to see us get back to not as much of that. I would love to cut it out altogether, but this is the superintendent of the county, and those decisions are made by the principals in each school district and principals of the schools. Right.
Okay, tell us more about what the superintendent does have power over and can do.
I can appoint school board members. So I will try to get the school board members to get their boards together to be more conservative, to push pressure on their superintendents to get academics up. They also hold the money for the districts, and the districts send vouchers. I'm not sure of the name. I think they're called warrants.
Hold the money from the state. State sends it to the superintendent.
Well, they actually send it to the treasurer, which I just found out, and then we're like an interim. We balance the books, and then the treasurer pays, and we pay, but we make sure it's all legal and coordinated. They also run the accommodation school. So if they decide that there's a need for an accommodation school, which is run by the superintendent, the county superintendent himself or herself.
Yes.
And that school is run. We have some education in the juvenile detention center.
Yes.
Anyone who's under 18 in the county jail, we can educate.
Okay, so the superintendent has direct control of the accommodation schools in the county.
In the county,
okay,
yes.
So you have lots of influence on that part.
Yes.
And also what's being taught in the juvenile detention center.
Maybe not so much what's being taught in the juvenile detention center. I do have somewhat control over it, but they have their own superintendent or educational director.
Okay.
So, other than that, it's more district-led. So if the districts all have similar problems, then the county superintendent can try and do something to get it, to make it easier for all the districts. For example, the substitute teachers. All the districts were having trouble getting substitute teachers. So that program, ESI, I believe it's called,
yes,
was set up. It used to be run by the county superintendent, but now it's its own business, but all the substitute teacher has gone through there. They
Yes.
accredit them and teach, train them and things like that, and then put them out.
Well, they don't train them, but they do they're supposed to vet them,
Yes.
but they really don't do a lot of that either.
We're very short on substitute teachers. I know Prescott Unified has decided to have permanent substitute teachers
Yes,
in a couple
saw
of
that.
their schools, so that they'll always have someone to cover the classes.
Yes. Okay. We got to wrap it up, Cara. So give us the last minute here. Why we should vote for you.
You should vote for me because I am willing to make changes, and I believe there would be positive changes for all the children in Yavapai County, whether it be private, public, charter, ESA kids, which is the Educational Savings Account, or homeschooling, which is overseen by this
That's
office.
also overseen by the superintendent. I didn't know that.
So I will make changes for academics to get rid of the SEL and the DEI. And you can contact me or email me. My email is woods, WOODS, 4, education @gmail.com. Or I have a website, woods4education.com.
Woods for 4 education.com.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I really appreciate you being in studio with us today at Prescott News to tell the community about your campaign for County Superintendent of Schools. And this has been David McNabb, your host on this show, saying goodbye and good luck. And tune in again whenever you can. God bless.